We got a sign. Oh, so firmly. Always wear protection. Enough goofing around. Welcome back to Jiffy Mae's Sick Kitchen. I'm your host, Jiffy Mae. Look, we have a sign now. How nice. Jiffy Mae's Sick Kitchen. It's a wood, like the rest of the wood. Isn't that nice? I'll link the artist's Etsy shop below if you're interested in supporting a small business. Cool. So it's been a while since my first episode. Sorry, I was just dissociating for a second. If you didn't see my first episode on Cadbury eggs, I would highly recommend clicking here to go take a look at the history of HIV and AIDS misinformation around Cadbury eggs and Pepsi and other food products. I accidentally went viral on TikTok. 6 million plus views on a snippet of my video used. It's a whole thing. A lot of hate comments, a lot of homophobia. Woo-hoo-hoo. It was wonderful. It wasn't. It was terrible. So I took a little bit of a break. Gotta grab my juice. Gotta stay hydrated. Lovely. This wouldn't be Jiffy Mae's Sick Kitchen without being sick. A lot of us out there, a lot of you, a lot of us, we're all in this together. I caught a cold about a week ago and I haven't been feeling great. And it's never fun to have a spring and summer cold. It's never fun. It's awful, actually. Despite all of these colds, it's the kickoff of summer. So today, as I crinkle this package next to my microphone, parties are happening outside, but it's also been pretty hot in the majority of the country recently. So today's recipe is inspired by my need to bring a side dish to a Memorial Day party tomorrow. I don't know when this video is going to be edited and uploaded. Maybe Memorial Day? I don't know. When you have a cold and it's almost unofficial summer, you don't really want to cook anything. That's why we barbecue outside. So this recipe is a quinoa salad recipe. And this quinoa salad recipe is a no-cook recipe because this recipe uses pre-cooked quinoa, and then the rest of the ingredients are shoved together into multiple salad bowls. You mix up a dressing, you put all of the ingredients together, and bada bing, bada boom, you have a delicious side dish for your Memorial Day party or barbecue. So let's get started. So specifically, this is a low-histamine recipe. So for all of my long COVID girlies, all of my chronically ill girlies, all of my ME/CFS girlies, anyone out there, POTS, any type of inflammation-based chronic illness or condition or syndrome of any kind, this recipe was made with you in mind. It is also gluten-free, high protein, and can be adjusted to be dairy-free and vegan. I think for the most, you swap out the honey for agave and use all dairy-free cheeses instead of the feta that I have in this recipe. So the recipes for today are a low-histamine peach quinoa salad, which we'll prepare together in just a moment. And on top of that, I also have a cocktail or mocktail recipe that I'm going to show you, because if you're already getting peaches and you have the honey, you might as well put together a fun little cocktail. Screenshot the recipes now. And welcome back. Ooh. So if you're familiar with salad recipes, any type of pasta salad, quinoa salad, salad, fruit salad, yummy, yummy. Shut up. She's telling me to shut up. That's Betsy, by the way. She's always in the video. She's always judging me. I mean, look at that side eye. Like, look at that side eye. She hates me, but she's my sous chef, so I love her. Anyway, back on track. ADHD be ADHDing, huh? With all salad recipes, everything is really to taste. So this is your salad. You should enjoy it. This salad should make enough for, I want to say, about 8 people, roughly. So double everything if you're bringing it to a larger party. I think that serving 8 with a side that you bring for a party is like golden, because not everyone's going to eat it. As I burp, Jesus, through it, Jesus. I'm gonna get started on the dressing, which I've mostly pre-prepared a lot of the ingredients, but we're just gonna put them into this bowl together. Should I do it up here? I'll do it up here so you all can see what I'm doing. Grace Helbig, you've got nothing on me in your HelloFresh videos. I'm too spectacular. I'm too cool. Actually, I love you, Grace Helbig. So this low histamine recipe for chronic illness was inspired by some of the notes that I found in this pamphlet by Peggy A. Wickwire, who wrote this pamphlet, this brochure on nutrition and HIV, Your Choices Make a Difference. This was originally published in 1990, made for the Tennessee Department of Health and Environment. And it's this really beautiful, well-illustrated pamphlet with tips and tricks for nutrition and diet planning for HIV infection. And one of the biggest tips that comes up in nutrition and HIV is increasing your protein intake, which is also referenced in Disease Pariah News, issue 1. This is issue 8. Increasing your protein for HIV infection and living with HIV and AIDS is something that I've come across a lot in my research, including in Disease Pariah News, especially in issue 1. Jiffy Mae, who inspired Jiffy Mae, the alter ego of editor Beowulf Thorne, she writes about in high-calorie cooking in the first article in the first issue. She talks a lot about increasing caloric intake, but also increasing protein intake, which can arguably help with viral infection. Again, I am not a doctor. Betsy is a doctor, but she's a bitch. Let's put together this damn dressing. We're gonna start with, over here, a half cup of olive oil, plopping right in there. I would say go with as good of an extra virgin olive oil as you can for this, because it's one of the predominant flavors in this, because it is mostly vegan and it is vegetarian. So the fats in this are pretty minimal. So going with a really good olive oil is awesome because it's the predominant fat in the dish. So in the recipe, I have about 3 teaspoons of vinegar, white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar. I'm actually going to do 1, 2, roughly 2 of the apple cider vinegar and 1 additional teaspoon of balsamic. That feels right to me, but we'll only know when we taste it. You know what I mean? Tiny whisk. Whisk that up. Next up, get yourself 1 whole lemon. Things are going to be shaking and quaking. I have a cutting board on here. I'm not an animal. I'm just going to squeeze, I would say, the juice of 1 whole lemon. These are oddly very seedless lemons. And just add that in, give it a nice little whisk. Could have done this in a much cleaner and more efficient way. But yeah, roughly the juice of 1 lemon. If you want to use a juicer, you can. I'm doing it a little bit more chaotically, covered in lemon juice. I did wash my hands. And for all of my friends who are about to be eating this salad tomorrow, I washed my hands. Calm down. Calm down. Betsy, may I? So I'm juicing the lemons a little bit more chaotically because I'm going to be using the leftover juice of these lemons for our cocktail in a second, but there is that. In the recipe, I call for 3 teaspoons of honey. I'm going to do this with this little bear in front of me. Shake it up. This is Jiffy Mae's Sick Kitchen. This is an adult program, okay? This is an adult program. I'm just eyeballing this. I'm just gonna squeeze. I'm a sick chef. I'm not a trained chef. You know what I mean? Like, come, like, please. What? There we go. It's all to taste. We'll have to adjust anyway. Next, we just have to whisk that all together. I have about a ½ ounce of capers and their liquid here. Ooh, whiskey, whiskey. Whiskey business. I'm so sorry. Next up, we're gonna go with some spices. So I'm just gonna do a few dashes of red pepper flake. Again, this is to your specific taste. Your taste. You and your party guest taste. I like it a little bit spicier than not. This is optional, but a few dashes of ginger. Again, this is a low histamine and hopefully anti-inflammatory dish. So adding a little bit of ginger to this won't hurt anybody. I think it pairs very well with the peach. And also ginger is, really great for digestive health. And everyone's going to be drinking, not everyone, but a lot of folks are going to be drinking and eating a lot. So just adding a little bit of ginger powder might help someone out in the downstairs. Ew. I'm going to set this aside now. Actually, let's give it a taste just to see what's going on in here. This is really good. It does need salt and pepper, so I'm just going to do it now. Might as well salt as we go. Few cracks of pepper. But that's it. We're just going to drizzle this onto the salad once we've finished putting it together. The big bowl. So now onto the salad proper. We're going to start off first and foremost with our pre-cooked quinoa. I got this pre-cooked quinoa in packets. I think in the recipe I call for 1,250 grams of quinoa. And honestly, that feels like a lot. So for now, I'm just gonna stick with 1,000 grams because that feels more right to me. So let's chat a little bit while I prep our 1 red onion and 1 whole cucumber. So what's been going on? How's everyone been doing? I'm doing pretty well, just dicing this cucumber. It could be pretty rough. It's a salad. It's a salad. People are just going to gobble it up. You know what I mean? I went to the Queer Food Conference at Boston University in April, which was really fabulous. It was one of the most fun times I've ever had at a conference. So many amazing queer food creators, restaurateurs, wonderful, wonderful people talking about food and the impacts of queer food. If you're interested in the Queer Food Conference in any capacity, link down below to the New York Times article about the Queer Food Conference, and there are some really exciting things there. My previous recipe from the Cadbury egg video is included on the Queer Food Conference website, also linked below, so you can take a look at that recipe book that was made in lieu of a conference program. So if you're interested in that, that's down in the description as well. And what was so fabulous about all of this is that I met a wonderful gastronomy master's student at BU named Isabel Marie Barbosa. And they are incredible. And their work with Disease Pariah News, it ran in the 90s and it specialized in content by, for, and about people with HIV and AIDS. And what Isabel did with their work was actually make a couple of the recipes from some of the zine issues, and in a workshop style led us in conversations about community care and food and these recipes and queer ancestry. And it was just so wonderful to see a younger scholar and chef thinking about these things. So Isabel and I are going to be collaborating in the future. I'll insert a clip here of one of Isabel's creations for this workshop. I got to take some of the leftovers home, which was so incredible and so delicious. And it was a sleazy wine cake that was gluten-free and adapted. And it was just wonderful. So take a look at Isabel's work in the New York Times article as well. So I finished the cucumbers, and I do have a cold. Not really. I'm over the cold. It's just congestion. But I moved on to the onions, and I'll come back when they're done. Onions are done. I'm sorry about my eyes. This is horrible. So I'll explain what happened. So we've been talking about Memorial Day and the heat and it's summertime. Well, I had sunscreen on my face today because I'm trying to be a good millennial Gen Z Zoomer cusp person and keep my skin from looking worse than it already does from acne. So when the onion fumes hit my eyes, they started watering, and then the sunscreen got into my eyes, and now my eyes are irritated, and I had to rip off the hat, and I had to, my hair is all over the, and you don't care, you're like, just get on with the recipe. Sure. So now that you have your onions and cucumbers done, and the onions have successfully burned your eye sockets out, it's time to add the feta. About 4 ounces of feta or dairy-free feta. Feta is not necessarily low histamine on its own, but in small amounts, it can be incorporated into a low histamine diet. Again, talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. Betsy is. Betsy is. And then 1 drained whole can of corn goes in here. Yes, delicious, delicious. And that was not as drained as I thought it was, but that's okay. Learn this from Molly Boz. We need to be seasoning as we go, so hit it with a little salt. The feta is pretty salty on its own, and the pre-packaged, pre-cooked quinoa also is pretty salty. By pretty salty, I mean it is salty. This is an optional step, but I had these in my fridge, and they've been in the fridge for a while, which is just jarred roasted red pepper. There is just something about the pepperiness that's going to go well with the dried red pepper flakes that we have already in the dressing. And truthfully, I just associate Memorial Day parties and barbecues with red pepper. I enjoy it in my salads, so I'm going to incorporate it. The salad is killing us. The salad is killing us. Okay, this is a hefty bowl. I'm going to try to bring it up closer to the camera. I don't have my second camera set up today, people. Look at this giant bowl of goodies. Yes, that's a very rough chop on the onions. I get it. I know. I understand. They were burning my eye. Just grab a wooden spoon, and just give this all a nice mixy mix. We have everything pretty roughly mixed together. This pre-cooked quinoa likes to stick a little bit, so I probably should have broken it up before I added the other ingredients. But what I like to do next is dress the quinoa salad first and foremost, before we add our peaches. I know you must be thinking, Jiffy Mae, this is a peach salad. Where are the peaches? They're right here. They're right here. But we're going to dress the salad first. Why? Because I like to get a handle on how much liquid is in the salad from the dressing, which is our most important ingredient here because it's our flavor. Peaches add that sweetness, but that's not the predominant flavor. We're going to pour it in. Ooh. It's gonna feel like a lot of dressing to start. Or it might not feel like enough, depending on what other ingredients you have, and if you had a heavy hand and you're pouring, just mix it all together. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 2 cloves of garlic to the mix and our peaches. They're just bagged frozen peaches that I've let thaw. What I really like to do with the peaches is have them, sometimes I put them in thirds, but just in a triangle wedge shape that kind of matches that of the cucumber that's already in the salad. Garlic and peaches have been added. Bring this up to you all so you can see what's going on. Right? It's not the most delicious looking salad in the world, right? It's not. It's not, but it tastes delicious, and I can promise you that. And everything in this bowl is okay to eat on a low histamine diet, according to me and Betsy and your doctor, probably. This type of salad is really great because it just feeds so many people. It's no cook. It's throwing everything into the bowl at once. Well, not really. You make your dressing, you prepare your ingredients, and you slop them all together. And that's all you have to do. I was heavily inspired by a recipe by the one and only Jiffy Mae in issue 8 of Disease Pariah News. Yes, this is an original copy. No, I don't want anything to happen to it, so I'm going to put it back down. But inside of issue 8 of Disease Pariah News, Jiffy Mae makes a sub-Saharan African slop using vegetables and couscous. And what I got inspired by was just this idea of a slop. In my doctoral work, I critique Jiffy Mae in Disease Pariah News for sanitizing or making more palatable global food flavors for predominantly white audiences in the Bay Area during the 90s, specifically calling a recipe using potatoes and vegetables, stock and couscous, a sub-Saharan African slop. But that idea of a one bowl meal, a one bowl supper, to get a high calorie intake in, to keep your body moving and fighting off virus, that was very inspiring to me for this recipe. And instead of couscous, I go with quinoa because it's very high in protein. So yeah, it'll keep people going at your party. Especially for those of you like me who are on low histamine diets for inflammatory purposes. Memorial Day, we're out in the sun. We're already being inflamed. We're the girlies outside in the sun. We're being burned alive. So might as well not be inflamed from the inside with the food that you're eating, huh? I also thought it was kind of fun that for Memorial Day, we have red, white, couscous is red and white couscous, and red, white, and blue. American imperialism. This is the low histamine peach quinoa salad. It's very delicious. I already tasted it. I'm going to plate it up in a second. I plate it typically with basil as a garnish, but I also sometimes cut it up and put it into the salad, cover it, and leave it overnight before the party. And then when I wake up in the morning, I take the lid off, see if it's wet enough. You know what I mean? If it's not wet enough, you can add a little bit more olive oil, a little bit more vinegar, a little bit more lemon juice, salt and pepper to taste. Add your basil when you serve it, or again, add it overnight and let it sit and marinate all together. And that would be delicious. Let's move on to a cocktail. So for this cocktail, I was inspired by the Perfect Lady cocktail, which is a creme de peach, gin, soda water, egg cocktail. We're not going to do all that funky business. And we already have some ingredients from our salad that we're going to incorporate into this cocktail. So what you're going to need. I'm using light tonic water. I believe in the original Perfect Lady cocktail in the traditional sense, it's soda water, but I like the addition of a little bit of sweetness with the tonic water. Yeah. So you do you. So for the ingredients, they're on the ingredient sheet that popped up earlier that you screenshotted already, right? For the perfect non-binary cocktail, Jiffy Mae's non-binary cocktail, if you will, you will need creme de peach, gin, whatever dry gin you really like, a light tonic water, any tonic water will do, the leftover cucumber from the salad, lemon juice from the salad, peach wedges from the salad. We don't have many left, but they'll do. You can also add a little bit of honey to this recipe, basically trying to incorporate as many of the ingredients that we already were dumping into our bowl of quinoa. And I also, just for a little bit of fun, love to add some crushed red pepper. Again, just like with the salad, we're not measuring. You know what I mean? A couple of red pepper flakes here over the ice. It's almost like blooming saffron. It's not at all. It's not at all like that. I don't know why I said that. That's just not true. 1 shot of gin, 1 to 2 shots of gin, I would say for this recipe. Yeah, it looks good. That's only about 1. A little bit more. Perfect, perfect. And between a half shot to a shot of creme de peach, just go glug, glug, glug. A little bit of lemon juice here. If you get a few seeds, who cares? It's almost summer. Fabulous. You know when Ina says fabulous? That's what this is. Fabulous. Top it off with the tonic water. Wow. Just a few wedges of cucumber. I like to put one on the edge, drop a few in there, flop, flop, flop. With this defrosted peach, it's a little slippery dippery. You know, drop it in there. If you have fresh peaches, even better. And there you have it. You have a perfect non-binary. That's so freaking good. That's a really good cocktail. Again, you can add honey if you want to, if you're using club soda or soda water, but I'm using tonic water, so it's already pretty sweet, so I opted out. Thanks again for visiting me at Jiffy Mae's Sick Kitchen. I have a cold, so this red pepper flake is just really nice with the peach. Oh, and the cucumber is nice and hydrating. If you have cucumber water, you could add it to this too. Any flavor of tonic or soda water would work really well in this. Keep yourselves hydrated this Memorial Day. Stay low histamine. If you wanna, you can also garnish your drink with a little bit of the basil. Let's just plate this up quickly. Whoa, just a little bit. This is my dinner for tonight. Because this is for guests, not guests. This is for a party that I was invited to. Oddly enough, I got invited to party. A little bit of basil. Take a little bite of everything. Put a little bit of everything in there. Hell yeah. That's delicious. It's delicious. That earthy, herby flavor of the basil, the satisfying texture of the quinoa, sweetness of the corn and the peach goes super well with the acidity of everything else that we've added in there. It's just delicious. So that's episode 2 of Jiffy Mae's Sick Kitchen. I'm Jiffy Mae, once again signing off. And please leave a comment below about a recipe that you would like me to try next, or a go-to chronic illness recipe that you have, that you enjoy, especially into these summer months as things start to heat up a little bit. And like and subscribe. Is it like 2013? Do we still say like and subscribe? Share. Like, share, and subscribe.